Heartitude series. We thank God for bringing us back again after a long time. Today we shall be talking about a very, very crucial issue, about what is happening around us right now. There are so many things happening around us that if we are not very careful, you are going to lose heart as a Christian. And that's what we want to be talking about. That's Heartitude 95. And we have Reverend Bajomo here. He will help us to shed more light on that issue. How can Christians react? How do we respond to the things that are happening around us right now? And how can we still stand despite all the things that are happening now around us? How can we really say, okay, we can still stand as Christians? Where do we take courage and encouragement from, especially at this particular time?
All right, thank you very much, and I want to trust that the Lord will bless every one of us. We must get to understand one fact, that the true test of a man is in how he responds. He responds to the circumstances of life. Life at times presents to us different kinds of circumstances in different shape, in different form. Some beyond our understanding, some we have a whole lot of questions to ask, and at times we get to have more of questions than answers. But you see, it is very important that we don't focus on the circumstances of life.
Focus on the circumstances.
Rather, we should focus on the God who controls the circumstances of our lives.
God who controls the circumstances of our lives.
It is very, very important. Occasionally, when people are confronted with some very unpleasant circumstances, they want to look inward. And the more they look inward, the more they despair, the more they are disoriented, and so on and so forth. But when we begin to focus on God, like Paul the Apostle, said in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, from verse 17 to 18, he said, we do not focus on what is sin. He said, for what is sin is temporal, but what is not sin is eternal. So our circumstances are momentary. They don't last for all of life. And so we must trust God to help us that we will not focus on the circumstances, because the circumstances that we see are nothing compared to the possibilities that lies in the unseen. And so we must trust God to help us that we don't focus on our circumstances, but on the God who controls the circumstances of our lives. Our lives are in the hands of God. Our lives are in the hand of God. Now, Elisha, one morning was woken, with a news, an alarming news, by the young man that was waiting on him. In the book of 2 Kings, chapter 6, Elijah was awoken by that alarming news, that they have been surrounded by the enemy's army. And the son of the prophet who was waiting on Elisha was so afraid, was so bothered by that particular circumstances. His focus was on the army that had surrounded them. His focus was on the problem. His focus was on the trouble. And Elisha helped him and said, God, open his eyes. Now, when we are confronted with circumstances beyond our control, we need to say, God, open my eyes. Open my eyes. Let me see what I need to see. Now, if you're not careful, there is something that you need to see beyond your circumstances that will help you to rise above it, that will help you to have a good story to tell at the end of the day. So we must trust the Lord to help us. We are tempted when we are faced with some very unpleasant circumstances. We are tempted to get carried away by them. But we must trust God to help us and focus on God, focus on the one who is in control.
Now, are you saying that when some things are happening around us, should we deny,
No. We should not deny reality.
Okay.
We should not deny the reality of what we are confronted with. But in it, we must trust God. We must trust God, and we can trust God because it determines the boundaries, it determines the times and the seasons of life.
Hallelujah. I believe that with that, we're able to really understand how to respond to the circumstances that are happening around us right now, because if we are not very careful, we'll be carried away. There is something that he said that is very fundamental: focusing on God and not our circumstances. That doesn't mean that we should deny what is the obvious, things that are happening around us, but we should rather focus on God than focusing on the things that are happening around us. So when we wake up, most times there are some things that happen, we wake up to that we're not expecting. But we should rather focus on God, that is our source, rather than focusing on.
And let me clear this. Habakkuk in Habakkuk chapter 3 said, I will be joyful in the God of my salvation. irrespective of what circumstances is saying. And don't forget, Attitude series is about responding to life issues right with the right attitude from the heart, and then with the right scriptural perspective.
Thank you very much. At least, viewers, I believe that you are able to understand that now. So, whatever is happening around us, we should learn to focus more on God and not focus on the real circumstance. That doesn't mean that we should deny that they are really there, but we should rather focus on God than focusing on them. Thank you very much. God bless you. Till we meet again next time. Bye for now.
Bye.